това видео ще ви представим нестандартен автомобил. Нестандартен за времето, в което живеем. Защото, знаете, все повече коли стават да речем, лъскави и специално се отдалечават от офроуд способностите и издържливостта си. В случая обаче имаме Ineos Grenadier, изцяло нов автомобил, изцяло нова марка. Тя се ражда заради амбицията и по-скоро и носталгията на британският милиардер сър Дим Радклиф, който притежава химическа компания с оборот от над 60 милиарда на година, велосипеден отбор и негова идея е да се направи автомобил наследник на стария Defender, който да е изключително издържлив, изключително способен, без компромиси. И това е Ineos Grenadier. Какво точно представлява обаче автомобила, ще ни каже Франк. Nice to see you, Frank.
Nice to meet you. Nice to be here.
What's your part of this new company?
I'm the regional business manager here in Eastern and Central Eastern Europe, and also I'm in charge for the Bulgarian market.
And tell me about these cars. It's only 6 prototypes around.
Correct. Yes, we have 6 prototypes here in Europe. These are 2 of these. One is the golden car, which is a static car we have here. Which is really close to how it will look in the final version. And this is our dynamic car where people and journalists can have a ride with, and we test it on road and off road with our customers and media.
As far as I know, and I read all about this car because I like it honestly, it's like the idea of the old Defender, but more rigid, more solid car?
Yes, I mean, in when the old Defender was stopped the production, our owner, Sir Dim Radklif, is a big fan of off-road cars, 4x4, really rugged cars. And he's seen like a gap in the market for a real off-road car. And in 2017, he had the idea in the Grenadier pub in London. That's why the car is named after Grenadier.
We were in a pub one day thinking about the project name, and the pub was called the Grenadier. Well, it sounds quite cool, Grenadier. It's sort of manly, soldiery, British, and the beer was quite nice.
And so the project was called Grenadier in the beginning, and in 2017, Ineos Automotive was founded, and together with Magna Steyr, we developed the car.
In Austria?
Correct, in Austria. And these cars, which you see here, are prototypes built last year from Magna. But at the moment now we are building our first PTO1 and PTO2 cars in Hambach in our plant in France.
Yeah. Maybe some of our viewers don't understand the whole concept. Yes. It's not an SUV.
No, it's we don't want to be an SUV. It's a pure rugged off-roader with a leather frame.
It's more UV or something.
Correct. Solid beam axle, front, rear. We have Carrara, for example, an Italian producer who does the axles. We have BMW engines, straight 6, diesel and petrol, coupled with a set of gearbox. So all good ingredients for a really good, solid off-road car.
But it's not with leaf springs like
no.
Correct.
We have the beam axles, front and rear, and with dampers and springs. And obviously we have a central diff lock, which is standard on all cars, built by Tremec, an US supplier.
Another well-known firm.
Correct, and as an option we're offering front and rear diff locks, which can be engaged electrical, but they're mechanical diff locks. But we have high range, low range, and obviously you can engage and fix them in low range, and so that's very special for this vehicle.
I'm curious, it's a completely new brand, new car.
Yes.
How do you test the car? I mean, it's cold weather, hot weather,
Yes.
off-road, and so on.
Everything. We did 1.1 million test kilometers, also in cold environment in the north of Europe, but we were also like in Dubai testing or in Morocco. So we did the whole program, which you need for a good vehicle or a reliable vehicle also.
I know that the designer of this car, he usually does boats.
Yes, he also designed boats, and that's why when you look in the interior, you have all the knobs on the roof, which is very close to aircraft and boating. Everything which is on the top is more or less about off-roading. You can engage the diff locks, for example, but you also have the utilitarian switches for, let's say, outside lamps on the top.
The whole point of the design is that it's functional, it's off-road oriented.
Yes, I mean, for good off-roading, obviously you need a boxy design. You need to have a good angle here, you need to have a good angle in the back, and obviously you need a good wetting depth. So we have about 80 centimeters of wetting depth. And obviously this design is also good when you sit in the driver's seat, you easily can see the whole dimension of the car. The front corners, and obviously the back is quite straight, so it's perfect for off-roading.
Yeah, I can see that here there is a hooks and also a protection.
Yes, I mean we have 4 hooks, a standard, front 2 and rear 2. We have the underride protection, the front and the rear as standard. And obviously as an accessory you can have additional underride protection.
And what's the ground clearance?
The ground clearance is about 28 centimeters.
A client can order the car in different specs.
Correct, yes.
With different trim levels and so on. Can you explain me these strange windows? It's not strange, but it's not like a typical moonroof or something. And these rails here are also quite interesting.
If we talk about these are our utility stripes, let's put it this way. It's an air rail system out of aluminium, and you're able to attach things. And obviously some customers already came up with the idea to, for example, attach a foldable camping table, or so it's quite, let's say, flexible what you can do with it. And you were talking about the windows. We have 2 Safari windows, which are an option. And actually you can open them half like this, or you take them all out, so you can store them in the back of the car.
Okay. Also very boxy design from here, and here the angle is like optimized for off-roading as well.
Yes, correct. I mean, we will be also offering like side runners or side protection and steps as an accessory, but actually for pure off-roading, to have the maximum of the ground clearance, you should leave it like that. Yeah.
You told me about the springs and so on. You don't have adaptive suspension and electronics?
No. I mean, it's one setup, as I said before. It's the springs from Maybach and the dampers from Bilstein, and it's one setup. When we're talking about tires, for example, these are the BF Goodrich tires, which we have on our Trial Master edition, the 4x4 edition, combined with the steel wheel. But we also have aluminium wheels, 17 and 18 inch, also combined with on-road or all-terrain tires from Bridgestone.
There is no 20-inch rims and so on because they're not suitable for off-road?
Because we're saying for off-roading, the perfect fit is 17 or 18-inch wheels.
The back door, it's quite unusual.
Yes, Yes, it's quite special. We have a split door, 1/3, 2/3. You can open this space here, for example, just to throw something in quickly. And obviously when there is less space, that you can open both doors. But obviously you easily can open the second door, and you can see it's a wide opening, so it's easy to load. And obviously it's a very, let's say, long load bed.
Is this an option or it's serial?
Yes, you can have it as an option, but also on the Trial Master edition it's standard to have it. So I would recommend to always tick this option and to get this option on the cars, because you have the easy access to the roof. And obviously we're offering several accessories for the roof. We have a full-size roof rack. We have crossbars, which is coming from our supplier Rhino Rex.
First thing that I'm noticing is that here you don't have this usual big screen or gauges or something. Why?
Yes, correct. I mean, for us, off-roading is the aim of the vehicle. That's the most important thing. We want that the driver has a free view onto the road, onto the territory he's driving. So only all the emergency lights or things like that are into this display here.
Yeah, and here you can have
here we have the main display. Correct. We have angles, for example. You can see, obviously we have the fuel in there, we have the speed in there, the gear they show you, And obviously it's a touch screen, but it can also be operated with the switch down here.
And the switches are very big, you can press it with the gloves.
Correct. I mean, for us it was important, for example, also when in winter you wear gloves, you cannot use the touch screen. You should be using or be able to use every knob and everything in the car also.
And the switches, I like them a lot actually. It's like military. It's
kind of an airplane feeling, and
this one as well.
yes. So everything down here is like daily business. Let's put it this way: you have seat heating in here, climate control, and so on. The audio switches and everything which is about off-roading, more or less, it's on the top here. You got the off-road modes, for example, for going into the water, the hill descent. Here you got the two diff locks you can engage.
What does this button do?
Yeah, this is when you go into the water. They would shut down the radiator and to go into the water. Correct. And all these switches are auxiliary switches, which you can have an option. So it's pre-wired. That means you have plug and play. In the outside, you can put it on a light bar, for example. And so everything in here has a purpose. There's nothing only about design. It's everything has a function.
Here there is one thing that it's familiar for me. It's this gear. It's like from BMW, the engine manufacturer as well.
Correct, yes.
And as far as I know, I read that it doesn't make sense to spend all the money for changing this gear.
Yeah,
because
actually it's only the looks, but actually it's very practical to use.
Yes.
A lot of people knows it already from the BMW cars. Yes, and it's obviously it's an automatic setup, eight gears, but you have a manual override.
Okay.
So you can still shift when you're going off-road. You can still shift manually.
You don't have this pedal shift.
No. Only on the center.
And this button, it's like red with some bicycle on it.
It's a little bicycle. That means we would like to be friendly to everybody who is on the road. We have not released yet how it will sound like, but it will have a special sound, and it will be just a gentle beep to warn the people. Correct.
From outside, the vehicle looks like very robust and off-road. And here inside you have leather trimmed, nice steering wheel, and this Recaro seats is pretty good.
Yes. I mean, obviously it was also important when you go off-roading that it's comfortable, that you can go long distance, that you have good side holds when you're going off-roading. So our corporate partner, our supplier is Recaro. We have this, let's say, rugged utility trim, which you can wipe wet. But we also have leather trim as an option.
You can have the car with 5 seats.
We have N1 version, the commercial version, which is available as a 2-seater, but also as a 5-seater, but with more space, and as N1 as 5-seater.
Off-road test. Actually, it's not so hard off-road for this car, yes?
No, there's an easy way for this vehicle. It's really easy. I drive with this vehicle more than, this numbers, 8,950 kilometers really in the heavy off-road.
This is only off-road?
This is only off-road, yes, of course. 30 kilometers on-road a little bit, and the rest is heavy off-road. But we drive also over rocks and muddy terrain. This is easy.
No problem.
No problem.
And the car handled it well?
The car handled really well. Nothing on problems. Every day it's working perfect, really. And this vehicle, we built it by hand by Magna in Styria. And the noise from this vehicle is the same at the first day. No, you hear? Nothing.
No scratching,
No scratching, nothing. It works every day, bad conditions, hard conditions, and it works nice. So I'm so happy that I can drive with this vehicle. It's a 2B prototype, 1.5 year old. And the engine is running every time. The noise is perfect. You feel it by yourself.
Yeah.
You can't hear some. Look at this. Nothing is jumping. It's working. That's the difference. The suspension works soft. but it works perfect. And the weight on the axles in the front of the rear axle is perfect. We have only the center differential inside and no axle locks. But in this position you don't need some. You can drive on the high range mode.
Yeah. It's 450 Newton meters, I think.
450, it's the benzene version. The pendant is the diesel version with 550 torque moment Newton meters, and we drive with 1,200 RPMs.
What version do you prefer?
I prefer the benzene version, the gasoline version.
Really?
Yeah, of course. I can show you the powerful engine from this benzene version. Look how we shift the gears.
Okay.
So we have the second one inside. So, and now a little bit on the accelerator, okay? So this is nice. You can drive 70 kilometers per hour off-road in low range, but it's not so very interested the speed in low range. But when you drive with a lot of weight on the hook, 3.5 ton, then you can drive and you can stay in the low range. That is the important thing. So you don't have to change to high range. You can drive a lot of kilometers in low range with a speed 50 or 60 of kilometers per hour.
Okay.
And that is the major topic from this center differential. From the reduction, we have a reduction high range to low range 1 to 2.5. So, and we can also change it when we are slow moving. Okay, so now it's low range inside.
To be stopped.
No, the low range is inside. So we change to neutral. Okay, then we change it to high range. And now you're also powerful BMW engine, 6-cylinder inline, 286 horsepower. And look, we are changed the gears really smooth.
Yeah.
So we have also Brembo brakes inside.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And now we go a little bit in these easy tracks. Okay. You feel the suspension. You feel the Recaro seat.
Yeah, it's quite comfortable actually.
Yeah, the body is stabilized on this really seats. It works well in the combination with the suspension. So this is a vehicle from Monday to Monday. You can go in the company, you can go to the shopping mall, you can go with your family weekend for the Alps, for the mountains. This is the turnaround cycle. Look at this. We have in the front, on the rear side, we have rigid axles inside. And one of the specialists, you see the front.
Yeah, you can see each corner actually.
Yes, yes. So, and when you go to the off-road, it's very important to see where is the start from the vehicle, and on the rear side where is the ending. You need, when you buy this one or you order this vehicle, you need 3 items. Okay? So only 3. You need both axle locks.
Okay.
This is an option for the front axle and the rear axle. You need also the advanced cable system. We have cables from the front to the center to the rear side and up to the roof.
For
you can
lights, range.
plug and play. Switch it on, you work with the winch. You can work with the light bar. You can work with the cool box inside. That's fine. So, and the third is the safari roof. You remember to the 80 years, everyone have a safari roof, and we need it also.
Имахме невероятната възможност да се докоснем до 2 от 6 коли, прототипи, които обикалят из Европа. И нещо повече. Имахме възможността да си говорим с хората, които седят зад развойната дейност. Така че научихме много интересни неща. Колата наистина може много повече, отколкото демонстрирахме тук, но все пак се докоснахме до идеята на Ineos Grenadier. Той вече се предлага официално в България от Silverstar и със сигурност ви интересуват и цените. Те започват от около 120 000 лева и достигат до 140 000, в зависимост от избора на двигател, от това как ще конфигурирате автомобила. Това беше за сега от нас. Абонирайте се за канала, ако още не сте. Следвайте ни в Instagram, Facebook и разбира се в сайта ни DizzyRiders.bg, защото ежедневно качваме яки неща. Чао!